Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Brett's Business Basics. And today we're going to be talking about why it's so important for you as a business owner to set goals for you and your business. Now, I always suggest you have a pen and paper, and I'd like you to write some stuff down. So if you're ready, let's get started. So why is it important to have goals? Well, if you're one of those business owners who's stressed out, you're being pulled from pillar to post, you feel overwhelmed, you actually don't feel in control of your business, or rather your business is controlling you, then you probably need to set some goals. And by setting goals, that allows you to build a plan, allows you to decide what's your biggest priorities, and allows you therefore to start to focus on what's really important to you and stop all the noise. So let me start with the big question of what's the biggest goal? And what I mean by that, what's the goal for you and your business? Why did you start your business? Did you start it because, well, you've always wanted to work for yourself, you don't like working for other people, always wanted to be my own boss? Well, fantastic. There are lots of reasons why people choose to set up their own business, and it's an individual decision, so there's no right or wrong answers. But a lot of business owners I work with, they're looking to build something for the future. They obviously have dreams that they want to earn good money instead of making money for other people, to allow them and their families the best possible lifestyle. But also then there are business owners who want to build a business, employ the staff, that it works really well, and ultimately they don't need to necessarily work in it. So now you've got a big decision and you've got choice, you've got freedom potentially. You can either continue to run the business, you can pop in on part-time basis because you've employed a manager, or you can actually decide, I've got a business now that's running itself, is really successful, so now I've got the choice to go off and do something else. Either go traveling, set up another business. And the thing there is you've got a business that can run without you, yet still provide you an income. So again, lots of reasons why people run their own business and have different ambitions. So please write down, if you haven't already, why are you in business? What's the goal? The big goal? What's the end game? Business is tough, business is hard. There are lots of dark days. So it's useful from time to time to be able to remind yourself why you started this damn thing in the first place. So that's the big picture. And that's what I want to talk about today. When I say set goals, I don't necessarily mean a list of tasks that you need to achieve every day. I'll talk about in a later episode. These are the more strategic goals about what's important to you, what are your priorities, and how you want to grow your business. But on a more day-to-day basis of strategic goals, I'd say start with a year. What is it you want to achieve in the next year? And I always advocate using what we call SMART goals, S.M.A.R.T. So the S is for specific. The M is for measurable. The A is for achievable. The R is for results orientated. And T is for timescales. So for an example, why SMART goals? Well, I could say, what's your ambition? What's your goal for your business for the next 12 months? And you can, and most obvious people will say, well, yeah, I want to grow my business. Well, okay, what does that mean? Specific. I want to grow my turnover by 10%. I want to grow my profits by 10%. I want to cut cost by 5%. It's a specific goal. It's measurable. Big question I always ask though, is it achievable? I advocate that you set goals that are challenging for you and are not going to be easy, but at the same time, you need to have some chance of achieving it. Otherwise, it'll be just a bit demoralizing, won't it? So is it achievable? Then R, you're looking for a result. Where am I now? What's the result I want to achieve? 10% growth in turnover. Okay, so we're results focused. We're going to keep focus on that. We're going to measure it. It's achievable. And then the T, the one that most people forget, time scale. We've said a year. So the time scale is, I want to grow my business revenue 10% within the next 12 months. So you've now got something that's more tangible. You can write down, you can plan. Well, how are you going to do that? So you've set the goal. The next thing is, well, what activities do you need to put in place? What do you need to do personally? What do you need to learn? Who might you need to speak to in order to achieve those goals? And a lot of people then say, if they're struggling, oh, I feel a bit demotivated. I feel a bit overwhelmed. So let me talk for a second about motivation. Motivation for me is overrated. What's more important is discipline, self-discipline. A lot of days we don't feel like getting up, but we have to. We've got to go out there and earn a living because we've got bills to pay. So we get up and do it anyway. That's what I mean by discipline. Sometimes you may be working towards your goals and it's not going so well and you're feeling a bit demotivated, a bit overwhelmed. Well, this is where the discipline and the mindset really must kick in. It's that consistency of activity and that turning up every day that will achieve your goals. And you know what? Put in the effort, you'll start to get the results and the motivation will come with you then. So just wanted to make that point about motivation. The counter to that is if you don't achieve your goals, then also don't beat yourself up. As long as you've put in that effort. The market's tough at the moment. The markets are always changing. What you thought you might be able to achieve, you might not be able to achieve as you expected in the time scale. So if you don't achieve your target in 12 months, but you achieve it in 13 months, at least you're moving in the right direction. What I call the direction of travel. So if you only achieve your target by 90%, well, you're 90% ahead of where you were when you started. So again, as long as you're putting in the effort, you're turning up consistently and it's moving in the right direction, you're doing a great job and you should congratulate yourself. So just to summarize, it's important that you set goals. And it enables you to focus on what's most important to you, to set your priorities for the business, to have a plan. And that's the key thing, as I keep saying, write down a plan. Start with 12 months out. Break that down into chunks of a quarter of the year. Break that quarter of the year down into a month. So over the 12 months, you've got goals that are taking you consistently towards your goal for the year. And then don't forget, I asked you the big question. What is your goal for the business? What's the end game? That's the most important one you're working to. So never lose sight of that. And if anything's being thrown at you, if any demands are being made of you that don't take you towards your goals, towards your end goal, then you can decide, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to ignore that because it doesn't take me to towards where I want to be. Then don't forget, motivation equals discipline. It's about having that mindset of things will get you down from time to time, but put it out of your head. If you put the work in, the consistent effort, you will get towards your goals and the motivation will follow. And as I also said, don't be afraid to play the long game. If you miss your targets within reason, as long as you're heading in the right direction of travel, that's the main thing. And as long as you feel you're in control of the business, it's going towards where you want it, where you need it to be, then you're doing a great job. I hope that's helped. And if you'd like any further advice or chat about goal setting, please feel free to get in touch with me, and happy to give you a free session, have a chat about how to set your goals and get you set up and running. Thank you for watching.